Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Darkwood Bushcraft. Now, today we are going to do May whistles. So let's go and find ourselves a nice bit of willow and I'll show you what to do with it. Right, so we've got ourselves a nice straight piece of willow. Now, at this time of year, with the sap rising in the trees, the amount of moisture that's in this wood is very, very high indeed. So the bark doesn't stick very well to the tree. There's a lot of fluid underneath it. It's very easy to remove the bark, especially of a willow. So that is going to help us as we move forward, but I'll explain that in a minute. So what we're looking for is a relatively straight piece, a little bit thinner than your finger maybe, about kind of whistle sized for instance. We don't want too many knots in it because we're going to try and remove the bark without actually damaging the outer bark itself of it, so we're going to take the bark off like a tube. So if there's too many knots, that'll make that a little bit more difficult. So let me show you what to do. So I'm going to take my knife to start with and I'm going to cut in the bit that's going to actually catch the wind that you blow through and make the whistle sound. So that's the first thing that we're going to cut. So we gently cut that in, like so. Okay, the next step is we're going to take our knife and we're going to run it in a straight line all the way around the branch. This is going to be the cut-off point for our whistle. So make sure you go all the way through the bark, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our knife and we're going to take the branch and we're just going to pop it against the tree like an anvil, and we're just going to tap like this against the bark and just slowly turn our branch. Don't go over the top, you don't want to break through the bark, you're just trying to loosen it ever so slightly. So now, in theory, what we should be able to do is take that firmly, give it a twist, and that whole section comes away. Okay, so we've got our two pieces. We've got our exterior bark and we've got the bit underneath. So we're going to work on this bit now. So put this piece somewhere safe because you don't want it to get crushed. So I'm just going to pop that up in the tree there. Now, where we made the bit earlier, the cut in the bark where the air goes through, you'll see in this one we have a little notch. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to create the reverberation chamber. So we're going to start to enlarge this. So we do a little stop cut and then we just slowly carve away, keep that nice and square. And the different sizes that you make this chamber will affect the noise the whistle makes and the pitch of the whistle. So have a play around with it, just experiment with different shapes and sizes of reverberation chamber and see what you can make. So I'm going to make it reasonably large. I'm just going to go down past the pith that we can see there in the centre. There we go. Just neaten that up. Okay, so if you see that, what we've created now is a chamber inside the whistle. Once we pop that bark back on the top, that chamber is going to be what creates our sound. So the only thing that's missing now is the bit to actually blow through, because if we put the bark back over the top of that, we will seal it again. So what we need to do is right at the top of the whistle here is just cut a nice thin sliver, nice and flat, off the top there. So when we put that bark back on, that will create our little gap that we're going to blow through. So I'll just pop my knife away Now we'll take our bark tube and just gently push it back over the top there. Now the last thing you need to do is just cut it off to length. So we'll just pop that back off again. I'm just going to cut that to length now. Popping back together. Put it the right way on. So we've cut it to length, and there you have one May whistle. Happy trails.